Welcome back to my channel YouTube, and have Manchester City taken a step closer to their 4th Premier League title in a row, which has never been done before, and their 6th Premier League title in 7 seasons. They might just have. However, I did turn on TalkSport this morning, getting ready for the Jim White and Simon Jones show. Martin Keown was on, and the very first thing he said, he didn't even say hello. The very first thing he said was Brighton laid down for Manchester City yesterday, and teams will continue to lie down for Manchester City to win this league. Personally, I think that is the laziest journalism I've ever heard. And he's trying to spin this narrative that teams don't try against Manchester City as they do against Arsenal. And that is so lazy. So lazy. So I'm here to tell you how Manchester City beat Brighton yesterday. And I'm not going to give you no lazy journalism shit. Right, so it was done tactically. Man City didn't really rely, although players were outstanding, they didn't really have to rely on the moments of brilliance, because the moments of brilliance came from their manager, Pep Guardiola. So we all know how Brighton set up. Brighton set up trying to play through the lines that they like to use the midfielders. So the midfielders rotate, creating space for each other, and they get the play and progress through the lines by luring the opposition out of position, therefore they can use that space to progress through. That's how Brighton play, and they're very good at it. However, City done a magnificent job in nullifying that. I mean, it was evident in City's third goal. So what City did was they made the midfield compact. So if you have a look at the average positioning of all the City players, apart from their wing backs, it's centrally. Because they want to close the space, they want to make it hard for Brighton to utilise the space and play out from the back. They've almost suffocated Brighton in that central area, and it forced Brighton to go a little bit direct, which they're not very used to. So if you look at Bernardo Silva, was key to this game, because if you look at Bernardo Silva's positioning, it's centrally and it's quite deep as well. Phil Foden deep. No, Phil Foden centrally. Kevin De Bruyne central. Rodrigo central. Mateo Kovacic central. Everybody was central apart from the wing backs. And literally they suffocated Brighton. And Man City's players are so comfortable under pressure that they were allowed to play their normal style, because they're so good at playing through the lines, making little triangles and relieving the ball under pressure. That's exactly how they suffocated Brighton. The best managers, I always say this is why Pep Guardiola has risen to the top, because he's fantastic at setting his team up at suffocating the opposition's strengths and exploiting the weaknesses. So he didn't allow Brighton to play from the back, and he didn't allow Brighton to play through the lines, because Brighton plays some beautiful football when it comes off. But Pep Guardiola was the difference last night, because if he hadn't have done that, Brighton could have opened City up, and because that's what Brighton do. But Martin Keown sitting there and telling me that Man City walked all over Brighton because Brighton laid down is nonsense. Brighton are always going to play this way. We've seen that throughout the season. And that's why they have had that fair share of hidings, because they do set up the same way and they do play exactly the same way. Let's not forget, Arsenal went to the Amex and did exactly what City done. They won 3-0 and they almost suffocated Brighton, just like Man City did yesterday. And that's what... So if Brighton lay down for Man City, they lay down for Arsenal. You know what I mean? You can't have it one way without the other. So let's look at how Man City won, and that's exactly how they won. And then they obviously had the brilliant players like Phil Foden was magnificent yesterday. Absolutely magnificent. He's been magnificent all season. And I know I said Martin Odegaard is my player this season, but I'm allowed to change my mind. I think it's Phil Foden. Watching him, the way he manipulates the ball, the way he can play under pressure, the way he receives the ball on the half turn, his elegance, his vision, his ball control, his ball-eye coordination, his ability to glide past players, his ability to bring others in play. And the best thing about him, I think, this season is, yes, all those aspects, but it's the maturity, and he's really become a man this season. He's really developed, and he's got personality on the pitch. And that's the best compliment I can give him, because although he's not tall, although he's not big, he stands above other players on the pitch. And that's the biggest compliment you can give to a footballer, is when they are shadows and levels above everybody else. And that's a huge credit to Phil Foden this season, because in a team like Man City, when you're filled with superstars, it's easy to go in it, like, under the shadow, but he hasn't. He's puffed with his chest out high, and he's walking the walk as well as talking the talk, so credit to him. But as for Brighton and Roberto De Zerbi, I think, you know what? Brighton are always going to play this way. So whether Martin Keown thinks it's lying down, fair enough. Look at Vincent Kompany at Burnley. He's almost got Burnley relegated because he wants to stick to his philosophy. He could have changed to being a little bit more pragmatic, granted, but I actually respect him for sticking to what he believes in. Do you know what I mean? It shows huge character to do that. And if you look at Ange at Tottenham, Ange is sticking to what he believes in, and he's playing that high line. He has been exploited at times, but he continues to do it because he believes in it. And you know what? I respect it. Mikel Arteta, he's got his own way of playing, and he sticks to that. And you know what? I respect it, because managers have their vision. Why do something you don't believe in? However, I do think managers need a plan B. Not a plan B, but just more innovation when things aren't going right. And that's the only downfall I can give to Roberto De Zerbi. But I thought Man City were just tremendous. Rather than looking at Brighton's weaknesses, let's look at Man City's strengths and what they did to win that game. And Pep Guardiola won the tactical battle over Roberto De Zerbi, because if you look at the game prior to yesterday, Man City played Chelsea and won 1-0. Now if you look at the average positioning of each player, Bernardo Silva was wide right. He was almost a choke on the boots type winger, and you had Jack Grealish on the other side creating width. They were a lot more spread out, they were a lot more expressive in where they were on the pitch, and they utilised the full pitch, whereas yesterday they made it more compact. And that's exactly how they won that game yesterday. And it's exactly how they won the game against Chelsea, by making the pitch big and utilising the space around Chelsea. Whereas yesterday they needed to be a bit more cute and a bit more like bringing it all together. So there is ways of winning football games, and I think other teams do need to just take a little lesson out of Pep Guardiola's book. And I know it's hard to do, but just change your style up a little bit. You can set out the same formation and have the same vision, but a little bit extra in those tactics go a long way, and that's exactly how Man City won yesterday. And I just want to make a final point on Mark Goldbridge, because I think he created a lot of attention yesterday when he stormed out his watch along, because he could not watch anymore because the Premier League's boring. However, where was this shout when Man United were winning trophy after trophy after trophy after trophy? The Premier League wasn't boring then. Man United, won 8 Premier League titles in 11 years. And then they missed out 2 years. And then they won 3 in a row. And then they missed out 1. And then they won again. And then they missed out 1. And then they won again. And that was the last time they won it. So from 1992 all the way to 2013, Man United won something like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, something like 13 Premier League titles. That is insane, and that is a domination. So why is it that just because your club isn't relevant at the top of the Premier League, I'm not saying Man United aren't relevant, because for me, they're the biggest club in England, But because they're not challenging for titles, that it's boring. If your team was where Arsenal are now, you would not be calling the Premier League boring. You're only saying that because Man United aren't where they used to be. Things come round in circles. Look at Arsenal. They had their bad time. Look at Liverpool. They had their bad time. And look at them now. Man United will get there, but you've got to take the highs with the lows, and you've got to take the lows with the highs. That's the way football goes. You're not going to win all the time. You're going to go through bad spells, maybe bad years. That is football. However, I can't, with the FFP rules, unless they do something different, I can't see anybody, especially teams like Newcastle, that are the richest club in the world, taking over Man City, because they cannot do what Man City did. Because when Man City did it, there was no FFP. But now there is, they cannot do what Man City did. And so there's just a little shout out to say the Premier League isn't boring. And if you look at the Premier League this season, there's a chart going around on social media where every team is beating every team. There's literally a chart where everybody's beat everybody. And there's actually still a lot to play for. I don't think this is wrapped up for Man City. Arsenal still got to go to Tottenham, granted. I get that. They're still got to go to United, granted. But they can win that. Man City have still got to go to Tottenham. And we all know Tottenham is a difficult place for Man City. They've only scored once at the new Tottenham Stadium. Once. So, Man City could easily drop points. And I think Forest away is a tough game for Man City. Because if Forest are up for it, they can give anybody a game. So I don't think the Premier League is over. I don't think the Premier League is boring. No football is boring, even if there is a domination. Because Arsenal are pushing Man City all this week. And like I say, if this had been United, if United were where Arsenal were, he would not be saying this, granted. He would not have left that studio or bedroom, wherever he was, at all. So, he's only saying that because Man United are not where they used to be. So don't be fooled, guys. The Premier League is not boring. And if you're new here, please, I forgot to say it at the start, please drop a subscribe, hit the like button, and please share this video because I am trying to grow on here. So I appreciate you all for watching, sticking by us, and ciao until the next video. Thank you very much for watching.